The following lesson is on propaganda. What is propaganda? The definition of propaganda from the Oxford English Dictionary is the systematic dissemination of information, especially in a biased or misleading way, in order to promote a political cause or point of view. Another definition of propaganda is the active manipulation of opinion by means that include distortion or concealment of the truth. Propaganda is the attempt to shape or manipulate people's beliefs or actions by means of information, arguments, or symbols. Propaganda may be printed, broadcast, or visual. Government agencies and other organizations and even companies may engage in propaganda activities. Propaganda is not the same as advertising. Advertising uses images and text and other media to sell products and services. Propaganda, on the other hand, also can use text, images, and other media, but not to sell products and services, but to persuade you to think a certain way and to change your value system, your beliefs, and your ideologies. The first example of propaganda is the very famous, iconic image of Uncle Sam, who symbolizes the US government. When he points his finger towards you and says, "I want you to join the US Army," he is emphasizing the need to be a good American, to be patriotic, and to fight for your country, but it's not mentioned that you can get killed. During World War II, there were a lot of propaganda images promoting women's work. Some of these images are: "Victory waits on your fingers. Keep 'em flying, Miss USA. Uncle Sam needs stenographers. Get civil service information at your local post office." Other images include: "Do the job he left behind. Longing won't bring him back. Get a war job." These images were targeted to women to work during World War II. What these messages do not convey is that when the war ends, these women will likely lose their jobs and be expected to return back to domestic life. In the United States, abortion has been a debate for over 50 years. The pro-life movement has developed and produced images that are very one-sided, extreme, and disturbing. Some examples of these images are: "She's a child, not a choice." This image is problematic because it doesn't look at the point of view of the mother. Was the mother raped? Is she a teenager who can't afford to have a child? The image is not objective, but very one-sided. Another image states, "This child has no voice, which is why it depends on yours. Speak up." These images provoke emotion and are sometimes shocking, but they convey a biased, one-sided perspective, and it doesn't provide both sides of the argument. It is important to note that propaganda can exist in some advertising. In the 1950s and 1960s, smoking propaganda was embedded in its advertisements. Some famous smoking advertisements included: "More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Viceroys filter the smoke. As your dentist, I would recommend Viceroys." And a multitude of different images, such as the Marlboro Man and other images that convey smoking in a romanticized and sexy fashion. Another example of propaganda includes the messages and images developed and produced by PETA, the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. Some examples of these images spread by PETA include the following. The following image produced by PETA is a celebrity endorsement alongside a dog. The celebrity is Charlize Theron, a famous actress from South Africa who has become famous in the United States. And she writes, "If you wouldn't wear your dog, please don't wear any fur." The only difference between your best friend and animals killed for their fur is how we treat them. All animals feel pain and suffer when trappers and farmers break their necks or electrocute them for their pelts. Learn more at PETA.org. This information is problematic and inaccurate. Charlize Theron is equating household pets with wild animals. Wild animals are the ones that are usually killed and their fur is taken to manufacture fur coats. Although this is wrong and inhumane, there is a distinct difference between household pets that we love and wild animals that are unfortunately killed and their skins and furs are manufactured into fur coats. PETA has the campaign "I'm Me, Not Meat," and the organization disseminates images of different animals with the slogan, "I'm me, not meat. See the individual, go vegan." Although some of us adopt a vegetarian or vegan lifestyle where we do not consume any animals, most of us still eat meat, chicken, fish, or pork, and we must recognize that wild animals are not perceived to have personalities. And we still live in a society where, unfortunately, we do have industries that kill cows, chickens, and pigs to produce beef, poultry, and pork. And so most of society do not perceive wild animals to have personalities. To summarize this lesson on propaganda, let's quickly review the definition of propaganda. Propaganda is information that is disseminated with the purpose to manipulate and to persuade. Propaganda uses biased information that may or may not be controversial and provokes an emotion and contains hidden messages. That concludes our lesson on propaganda.